I recreated Mr. Bean's car in Blender, or let's better say one of the multiple cars he had for the show, as he actually has crashed some of them. So I started the modeling process by typing in the dimensions of the car, and in normal cases finding the dimensions or the blueprints of the car isn't that hard, but in this case while watching at his car I had no idea which model exactly it is. I only knew that it is the car from the man called Bean. And I started the modeling process by placing the vertex in the middle of the hood and extruding it all the way to the right side. And to get the banding of the windshield, I added in a loop cut with 2 cuts and aligned it to the blueprint line. As I had no idea on how to continue on the hood area, I first added in a circle to recreate the shape for the headlight, and of course I went ahead and placed it to where it needs to be. As this has not helped too much to recreate the hood, I first duplicated a vertex and placed it to the area where the grille of the car starts, and I first recreated the upper line of the grille so that I could then go ahead and shoot this line up to recreate the hood. So after finishing off the hood area, I started to work on the front fender, and after creating the first line, I went ahead and replaced some of the vertices from the hood as they seemed a little bit off, and as I still struggled to fill in the area correctly, I first added in the front wheel arch so I could go ahead and create the paint area underneath the front grille to connect it to the front wheel arch. I then finished off the shape for the front grille, and I started to fill in some of the faces to get the shape of the car. I then continued creating more lines for the side fender so I could go ahead and connect the A-pillar to the front wheel arch, and after filling up this area with faces, I decided to make a break on working on the car body, and I first separated the hood into a new object, and then I created the first materials to the scene, and after adding in the material to the hood, it already started to look like the car from Mr. Bean. I then shared a work in progress picture into my Discord server, for which you can go ahead and find the join link in the description underneath this video. I then continued to work on the front grille by duplicating of the outline vertices, extruding them out and inserting them in. Then I duplicated the bottom vertices of the front grille and moved them up just a bit. Then I extruded this part back all the way into the inside of the grille, and I have deleted the back face so I could go ahead and duplicate this part all the way to the top of the grille. And to make this part look right, I only needed to go ahead and make sure that these parts do not look through the right side of the grille. And with the front grille already finished, I added in the chrome part to the headlight. Then I have added in a new circle to the scene to recreate the front indicator, and to align the circle perfectly to the car body, I enabled the face project and projected the circle onto the car body, and with 2 faces from the hood, I shaped out the badge for this car. I decided to finish off the front before I go ahead and continue on the side of the car, so I recreated a chrome bar at the front. Then I checked the normals for the first time, and as some of the faces were inverted, I fixed up all of the normals. At this point the front was basically finished, so I went ahead and started to work on the side of the car. And from this point right here, the blueprint wasn't really matching up with the reference images from Mr. Bean's car, so I had a really hard time to recreate the top. So while working on the top of the car, I also tried to create some of faces on the side of the car, so I could also go ahead and create the B-pillar to have an easier time for the roof. Then I traced down the blueprint line of the front door with vertices, so I could first go ahead and fill in the faces, and that I later could go ahead and easily create a car panel gap. I extruded all of these vertices to the right side, and like this almost half of the car was already finished. Seeing this gave me such a great boost so that I started to work again on the roof. With the vertices from the extrusion, I could go ahead and create the B-pillar, which I could go ahead and connect to the A-pillar. Then I continued on the side of the car and extruded the vertices to the back. As the next step, I have added in the back wheel arch, so that I could then go ahead and extrude the vertices even more to the back with some aligning vertices from the back wheel arch. And then I have quickly recreated the C-pillar and have connected it to the B-pillar. And as the roof is still hard to create, I opened up a new construction site by starting to model the back of the car. But just like this, I was able to trace down the back window and fill in the C-pillar. And with this, I had the frame for the roof already created, so that in the next step I went ahead and filled in the roof. And after filling in even more faces and scaling them up or down on every axis that the Blender scene had to offer, the roof came out looking pretty sick at the end. So with the roof finished, I first finished up the area on the side of the car, which was not filled in yet. Then I selected all vertices from the front in the wireframe mode and pressed H to hide them, so that I could easily go ahead and create the back of the car without the front vertices disturbing me. And the first thing that I did was to trace down the blueprint line for the trunk, and then I tried to fill in as many faces as possible. And then I of course also filled in the faces for the trunk itself, as otherwise I would have a hole in the model. And with the trunk area filled in with faces, I used the knife tool with K to cut out the area for the license plate with some faces from the trunk. I have recreated this thing right here, which is probably the badge of the car, and with a new circle which consists out of 6 vertices, I have created the handle to open up up the trunk. Then to make the bag almost finished, I have recreated the chrome bar for the bag, just like I also did it at the front, and by adding in a new cube to the scene, and with the help of a boolean modifier I first cut out the area for the taillights, and by duplicating the outline vertices I have created the chrome outline. As I had enough to work on the back of the car, I first created the black frame for the back window, and I of course continued with creating the back window itself. So after creating the back window, I also had the urge to create the side window, so I first recreated the back one with the chrome frame, and then I have recreated the front side window without any frame at all. The windshield though again had a frame, so I first recreated the frame of the windshield so that I could then go ahead and with the outline vertices create the windshield itself. And at this point right here in the modeling, the car looked almost finished. But we still had a lot of details to add, so the first detail that I wanted to add in are the headlights. So after creating a basic inside, I also created a basic light bulb, and I have finished off the headlight with the transparent part. So after having the flow of creating the headlights, I went ahead and created the front indicators, as the modeling process of them was always the same. To finish off the front area, I duplicated the bottom vertices of the chrome bar so that I could go ahead and create one more car body part at the bottom right here. And the last thing which I had to add in to finish off the complete front of the car was the front license plate, which I have of course recreated by adding in a basic cube to the scene. As on the relaunch of the car, it actually has a body part which is a little bit extruded to the right side. I also recreated this part right here, and it also had the same wheel arch at the back. So I first recreated the back wheel arch just like I did it at the front of the car, and then I added in the back bumper, which was also the last missing car body part, by extruding the vertices down and scaling them up and down by playing with the active element. As the license plate at the back looks a little bit different than the one at the front, I needed to go ahead and add in a new cube to model the license plate out of it. Then by selecting the edges that have marked the outline of the trunk and adding in a bevel with 2 segments, I could go ahead and add in the car panel gap for the trunk. And by looking at the reference image, the only car panel gap that I could spot is the one from the front door, and of the parts where I would normally go ahead and assume that there is a car panel gap, there actually was none, but instead I think that all of the car parts were welded together. Or if anyone has any idea of what it is what I'm recreating right here with the cube that I have added into the scene, go ahead and please share it with us in the comment section, as I'm actually curious on what it is, as I have never seen this before. As the weld line that I have created was looking way too blocky, I selected all of the outline edges, and then I have added in a bevel to the scene, and I have activated clamp overlap so that we do not have any overlapping faces. So with this car panel gap that were turned with some together welded parts, I have created the last panel gap for the front door. Then I have cut out the area for the door handle by using the knife tool, and by duplicating some of the faces I have created the door handle itself. With a new circle I have created the door lock system, and with one more circle I have created this thing at the back right here, which is probably the fuel tank. At this point right here, the back was still missing the taillights, so I went ahead and recreated them, and I think that they came out looking really sick at the end. So at this point right here, the car was almost finished, so I have duplicated off the outline vertices so that I could go ahead and create the underbody of this car. Then to create the rims, I first tried to count of how many segments the rim consists of, and as I came to the conclusion that it is 18 segments, I have added in a circle with 36 vertices. Then I have placed the pivot point to the selected vertices, and with only 3 vertices left, I could go ahead and start to model the rim. To add in the hole to the segment, I beveled the vertex and changed the shape to make it look circular. With this part right here, I could already go ahead and rotate it all along to have a complete rim. So then with another circle, I went ahead and recreated a basic tire. I have added in a good looking material to the tire, and after copy and pasting the wheels 3 times, the car was already finished. So at the background right here, you can see the final render of Mr. Bean's car. I think that the car came out looking really good at the end, although I'm actually not completely satisfied with how the back came out. If you are at this point interested in how to create a 3D low poly car for yourself, you can go ahead and check out my full step-by-step beginner course with the first link in my description. If you liked the video, I would highly appreciate a thumbs up, and go ahead and subscribe to my channel so that you do not miss any new upcoming videos. If you want to join the best 3D community in the world, then go ahead and don't hesitate to join our community Discord. My kings and queens, I wish you all of the best for the future, and we will see us in the next video.